the more time you're going to get it right. And the more data you're going to have that's correct. Again, we look at 20% of the city a year. If I've got residential appraisers that are having to look at 10,000 or being responsible for 10,000 parcels, and if in fact they could be doing 7,000, they're able to spend more time in the field looking at more and more property. We're trying to do a much, much better job by sending out valuation notices, not valuation, but neighborhood notices, we're doing door hangings to get into properties, because the best way to value a property is to get into it. You know, you got to see if they finished their basement or not, if the attic is finished or not. If it's been something that's neglected for a number of years, then we need to be dropping that condition down. If they've been adding kitchens to it, then we need to be increasing it. And so, but there's this trade-off that the more successful we've been at getting into properties means you're seeing fewer and fewer, which is then creating a challenge, because we still have to see 20% of the city by statute. So the better the assessment means the more time you're spending on each one. And if you don't have the staff, you just have to say, I can't tag every one of them. I'm only going to tag the ones that it looks like the property record looks like it's not accurate. But currently we're still tagging every property, because we really, just because it doesn't look like things have changed doesn't mean it necessarily hasn't changed. So at this point in time, we're doing everything we can to make sure that we do the best job we can. But to answer your question, we would have hopefully less litigation, fewer appeals, and a better overall assessment.
Thank you.
Just give me a time check with Mr. Todd, if you could.
I got 5 minutes.
Please. If you could do it in less than 5 would be all right.
Okay, I think we can do it. So the value, I just want to say the value for this position is just that we'll have greater precision within our assessment. We'll hopefully have fewer appeals from residents and taxpayers. We don't currently have a commercial, industrial, or an apartment model, even though there are modelers that do that. We don't currently model any of that, the apartments. And I think if we can get an additional business application manager and we can dedicate the time, we can actually increase the reliability of our current apartment model, which we're not using, which then allows us to spend less time having the analysis, the appraisers do the analysis, and more time in the field actually making sure the data is right, if the computers are doing a much better job valuing these particular properties. Quality checks, again, it'll alleviate some of the workload pressures. I just wanted to touch a little bit about the next chart. There were a number of additional charts in my presentation, but in a 30-minute presentation, I took ones that were the most relevant. This is just from an industry standard, you know, where we are. We charge, or it costs us about $37 per parcel to do our assessment. If you look at the neighboring communities around us, they're significantly higher. It's more of an average is about 44. So we're really lean. In fact, I would say we're too lean. We could stand to use a few more staff, to be honest with you. But I just thought it was important to recognize that we are on the low end for budgets. And if we look at the next slide, if we were to get our one additional FTE, that moves up to about $39 a parcel. Still well under the industry standard, and I think something that, again, as a council member or as a taxpayer, they would want to know if I'm getting additional resources, where does that place us amongst the neighboring communities for assessor's offices, and we're still below. My last slide before questions is something that I added, and I tried to put myself in a position of a council member or a taxpayer, and I said, you know, there's going to be some questions that you're going to need to have answered, and I think I've touched on them in my presentation, but you know, you're going to want to know if it's financially feasible. You want to know if it's going to make some technological advancements. Does it fit within the city's strategic vision, and is it an operational improvement? From a financial standpoint, we're at $39 with this position. We're still well under the $44. It is a financially prudent decision to make. I really think so. If this put us above and beyond the industry standard, I would think that would be a difficult decision for a council member to make or a mayor to make, but we're still well within that reasonable range. This has the biggest impact with the fewest resources expended. I had the opportunity to say, do we want a modeler or do we need another appraiser? Because I have one more appraiser. We take the entire pie, we divide it by one more person, and so that might relieve 300 or 400 parcels off everybody's plate and add one more person to one more neighborhood. But that's only going to impact about, you know, less than 20%. It'll probably impact probably 5% of the city. If I have another modeler and we do a really good job tweaking our models, I can actually impact all 130,000 values by being more accurate. So when I had to look at what's more important, more door knockers or more somebody that can really do a much better job on touching all 130,000, this made the biggest bang for the buck on a position. So, and then this is a market-driven adjustment. This is not something that we're throwing more money after a bat. It's not throwing dollars at a department that's not functioning well. We're functioning extremely efficiently. The department is, or the market has grown, and we need to grow with it. And it's really a business decision from that standpoint. From a technical standpoint, we're going to be able to maximize our existing programs, our applications. We're going to be able to develop new applications. We're going to be able to partner on projects like Hennepin County, and we also be able to provide more data to the public. From a strategic vision, this fits well within the city that works, the government run well. It also fits within my department's organizational strategic vision, which is operations that are efficient, effective, results-driven, and customer service focused. And then last but not least is from an operational standpoint, it really is a position that's going to support the core functions within my department, and it also supports internal and external customers. So last but not least, I think this is a very good return on investment for the city of Minneapolis. Ta-da. I was going to have a star, but
I like the best ROI. Obviously, the department does a terrific job, especially in terms of efficiency and delivering value to our taxpayers. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Any final questions, comments? Not seeing any? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That concludes our planned budget presentations for today. The next ones are going to be on Friday, October 2nd, where we'll be taking up the Public Works budget, and then on Thursday, October 8th, where we'll have the Community Planning and Economic Development budget and the Regulatory Services budget presentations. So that's our agenda coming up in the near future, and look forward to a continued robust conversation on that budget. Thank you.